Well, let's get going! Stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas. The prairie sky is wide and high, deep in the heart of Texas.
They are trained with dilapidated mitts. The holes in them make their hands burn. Carefully, they learn to pick up the pots. They're also taught to move boxes indiscriminately. It costs money to teach them these techniques. Luckily, it's all a tax write-off for each company. Once a year, they send the dummies westward. Some of them only use familiar bathrooms. They're under-socialized as well as uncoordinated. Melvis and Torkley couldn't take the idea of being corpses anymore, so they devised this plan for stealing out of the mortuary before the evening calling hours for their shared wakes ever got underway, thanks to a couple of other stiffs who were in agreement with them about this game called death. The plan, you see, was to commandeer a funeral wagon while the mortuary employees weren't looking, so Bean Bomb had slipped a little something into the hearse driver's drink, since the guy couldn't drive without having it first, so now all they had to do was flag down the other stiff, Moxon, who was waving to them frantically just then from the south carport.
Mr. Figg signed a relatively innocuous-looking document at the hospital last week, though it unfortunately allows them to carve out his liver or his spleen, if they so desire, at a moment's notice.
This big giant green shithead came into view Thursday while we were all trying to cash our checks over at the supermarket, but he had so much trouble clearing his throat that we all just ignored him while he spat wads into the bushes.
During the daylight hours, these uniformed women are sworn protectors of those who are in ill health, comforting the sick and the wretched, both young and old, who inhabit the beds of tiny Crestville Hospital in the picturesque Iowa countryside. Though as the nightfall approaches, these 13 caregivers revert to a wilder state of being, whereupon they light dark candles and worship the AMA snake.
There's this strange tradition in certain less civilized parts of Canada that when a minor league hockey team moves out of its parent city to another location, then several of its more noteworthy and ravenous fans pack up and leave along with the franchise. Some of them are actually abducted at gunpoint, then carted up like sticks and pucks and pads and brought silently to their new home under the influence of illicit narcotics.
He came down from the sky on a gleaming yellow streak. He made everyone around him feel better instantly. He mixed up protein drinks for each of us to slurp. He entertained our kids with hokey sci-fi stories. We sought to destroy him for a variety of reasons. He shrugged off our animosity as though it wasn't there. This made many of us even more determined to kill him. He then showed us that his blood was different than ours, how we would never succeed in making him disappear. So we stuffed him inside a large wooden death box. Then we slammed it shut with sharp nails and bold hammers. We can still hear him laughing spitefully on dark nights.
Ha 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 ha! Ha! There's this weird cult in rural Pennsylvania, and they've been kicked out of every brick church building and community hall they've ever rented out because of their foolish creed and aimlessly provocative beliefs. Nowadays, the only place that they can meet safely without harassment is in the breezeway of Marassa Venusian's home, all 10 of the remaining members of the Hicktown cult that sacrifices lame cats to horny gods.